Just going to start this video blog stating my student number 4908737, and my name is Jack McGinty, and I'm going to be discussing fandom, some canon, and textual poaching of Rick and Morty. First off, we're going to be looking at the Szechuan sauce incident that went viral to do with Rick and Morty episode, episode 10, season 3. And essentially, within the episode, it's about the recreation of the Szechuan sauce, and Rick goes back in time, and he just really wants to taste that sauce again. However, it took a turn for the worst when it hit the fan base, as essentially the people camped outside McDonald's as support of the show. They'd done a one-day giveaway, like Szechuan sauce thing. They brought it back. However, it was overcrowded and police had to become involved, and apparently some fights broke out, and there was just this mad upheaval to, well, it claims on the Telegraph there was a mad upheaval to claim the packet of Szechuan sauce, and in the article it quotes that someone actually traded their car for a packet of sauce, but I'm not sure how reliable that is. However, it's a pretty funny story, and I think it just shows the extent of that. Some fans are willing to go to just to catch a glimpse of the show. It only recently got massive hype within the last, I think, year, I'd say. And yeah, the fact that they've caused a massive conglomerate such as McDonald's to go back and reenact this bit of time to bring back a Szechuan sauce, and for fans to go crazy even though it went a bit over the top. I think a good quote to put in here would be Brooker 2002, that canon can be a slippery thing. It suggests that though the origins of the story may mean well, it can sometimes have a ripple effect on fans, and it doesn't always plan out as how you feel the episode should go. And the creators of the show, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon, did not intend to have a massive surge of fan uprising outside McDonald's. Furthermore, the fan base of Rick and Morty continually jest with the owners of the company and the producers, Adult Swim, to what is the canon behind Rick and Morty. For a Halloween special last year, they released the adventures, the non-canonical adventures of Rick and Morty, though some fans within the YouTube comments decided that it was a part of the canon of the story, and on Fandom, the actual site, they've phrased it as canon to the Rick and Morty series, even though Adult Swim specifically in the title state that it's not. Hence why canon is such a flexible thing between the fan base. They can decide whether they want to see the original plot just sticking to the original concept of the series, or whether certain spin-offs should be included within the Rick and Morty universe. A good quote here would be Paris, a descriptor of specific identities, relationships, or story arcs that take place within the overall story. This essentially defines what canon actually is and how certain types of canon can be perceived, because the concept of the show is that it's within multiple universes. There's a common twist on how the fact that people within Reddit and certain fan bases continually say it may not be our canon of Rick and Morty C132, which is the main character, but they would create their own multi-universe where the Rick would be C134, thus just creating a new separate thing which could be seen as canon. And Reddit often Reddit pages have often made certain following storylines along with certain episodes, as well as certain comic books with different animations, different artwork, all fan made, that some people may consider canon alongside the series if it works. However, obviously not by the original owners of the show or the producers or all that lot, but because it's this multi-universe within a sci-fi concept, the canon is so varied for the show, and even Adult Swim, who own it, produce certain things and make certain jokes at how the canon is like only divided by the owner, and they decide what's what. They for I think to fight animal testing made Morty vegan within the trailer for the season 4 run, and he's literally just screaming, I'm a vegan, this is canon, and they just have a massive twist on the show, and they kind of jest with the fans and the massive fan base. And Reddit often play back this like back and forth, this is canon, no this is, creating new side plots and storylines that much of the fan base acknowledge and agree with. Furthermore, the fandom page by Wikia, I think that would make sense, basically Wiki, have a vast amount of memes from textual poaching, such as the classic I don't need to go to college mama, I'm watching Rick and Morty, stuff, massive plays on the fact that because it's an intellectual scientific show, the the fan base are just above everyone else, and there actually was a brief interlude between certain fans that created a lot of conflict, especially on Reddit and some, I think, on Facebook, that some fans watch it and they understand kind of like the quantum mechanics behind theories of like going through space and time. However, others are just there for like the laughs, you can say toilet humour, and there's just the giggles on the side, because Rick's a raging alcoholic who's this mad scientist who can create crazy inventions, but because of this massive fan base and the huge hype, it's created this disperse of one fan base saying no, we understand this concept, we find the humour very interesting and intellectual at the same time, while the other fan base saying you can still enjoy it and be a part of it, which is true, but we don't often get some of these scientific terms and just do it for the gags and the toilet humour. Finally, to conclude, I'm just going to talk about how Rick and Morty's universe have so many different differentiations upon YouTube, and there's so many channels which have created their actual own series of Rick and Morty. There's a channel where real life actors are playing Rick and Morty and doing different quests and certain things, and there was kind of I think it's Clay. The Adult Swim version was Clay, and then other people have now adapted kind of a morph version where there's it's like a silent movie kind of, and there's a vast amount of artwork and fabricated comic books which are animated through YouTube as well as Reddit pages. They're really in depth towards the multitudes of universes, and they use all the different types of characters that can be found on the fandom page, but obviously they've created into their own textual example. And I think this creates a mass of consumerism, and as well as the fact they're essentially self-advertising for Rick and Morty through creating various different texts. And furthermore, many of them go into textual poaching and develop the memes and develop different types of memes, and can create certain examples of where the old "what would Jesus do" meme is now encapsulated by a "what would Rick do." In addition to the fact that there's even some fans that have gone out the way to vote on certain fan theories. On this page called The Ranker, I found a fan theory about Morty, and it had around 3,100 votes on it, and it just shows how encapsulated the fans are by the series, and how indulged they are to actually vote upon a random website generated just for Rick and Morty about whether a fan theory is greater than another. Thank you for listening.